Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the sexiest guy in radio land.
I won't talk nice to you and talk about fornicating with you and letting you suck my dick because if I was eloquent with you, you would still look at me as a scumbag.
We're talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
No, let's go inside the mind of a Greg Jennings.
You gotta look for, you gotta put in some keywords. You gotta go to maybe Yahoo or Google or something like that, and then you look up boobs or ass.
Her back is broken.
What, a vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal. I put the team on my back, dude.
And people in the news media, all of you, dwell on some negative piece of like that.
One of the most hardest hitting safeties in the league.
My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable.
Aaron Sharp was fuck it. You can't stop me.
I want to eat his children.
You play to win the game. Hello?
But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Welcome to the Grimy League Football Podcast.
With your hosts, Luke and the self-proclaimed fantasy genius.
Great cash, homie.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
You got your popcorn ready. Do you got your popcorn ready?
Welcome to the first ever Grimy League Fantasy Football Podcast. And what a way to kick it off with a playoff special. I have my co-host with me, Eric, the self-proclaimed fantasy genius. How are you?
I'm well, but I think for this year, we're going to be the fantasy Jesus.
Welcome. We also have several guests currently logged in with us. We have some playoff contenders and some not so playoff contenders. Dan, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. Been playing spoilers since week 3, baby. Woo!
Paul, we got Paul joining us. Paul, what's up, man?
Hey.
As always. And then we got Waji on the line.
Hey, what's going on? I feel like that finger was pointing at Dan.
Waj is live and direct from where? Times Square?
Times Square, yeah.
All right.
You can see my picture if you click on the thing where I'm at.
All right. Well, let's get right into it with the football stuff. I wanted to kick off by talking about who we think the 6 teams to make the playoffs are going to be. Obviously, Matt's team is kind of a lock at this point. And then looks like the Markoviacs.
That pains me more than ever.
Yeah, it pains everybody more than ever. But looks like the Markoviacs are probably going to be good to go, and so are the Hustlers. Eric, you agree with that?
I mean, I think, yeah, of course, 7 wins at this point is a lock. I think we all need to take time and realize that Mark managed his team pretty well this year. He turned a shitty draft into a contender, and he made solid pickups all year.
I'm sorry, but I wouldn't go as far as calling all of that skill. He just got really lucky that the guys that he picked up produced.
Listen,
so,
okay, how much of fantasy football is luck anyway?
I mean, but I'm gonna give
it falls into your hands, but you also have to be kind of smart and hold on to people, and
All right, well, let's not jump into the luck conversation quite yet. Okay, so we've got
Speaking of luck,
I agree that I agree with Eric that probably 7 wins is a lock. Looking back, Eric looked at those numbers, and it seems like anyone that's had 7 wins before has basically made the playoffs. So if we consider the Eggheads, Markoviacs, and the Hustlers locks for the playoffs, the next question before we delve into the other 3 more likely teams, we were actually talking about this off the air. Is Paul mathematically eliminated from the playoffs? Does anyone know if that's actually true?
I don't know for sure. I would say it's very likely because
Jesus would
last
know.
Week,
I'm sorry.
I did look at the matchups. There's a lot of teams that are going to make it 7 wins. A lot of teams.
Yeah.
And because there's a lot of teams playing each other in these next couple of weeks. So
yeah, I mean the way Paul's 4-7 currently. What Mark?
No, you know what? No, he's not. He's not at 7. Yeah, he's got to be. I don't know.
He's not totally mathematically eliminated in theory because Mark was going through the schedule and he was saying that none of the 6-5 and 5-6 teams are really playing each other over the next 2 weeks, except for the Demons and myself are the only 2 5-6 teams squaring off. So he's probably technically not completely eliminated, but he might as well be because it seems like a lot of things would have to fall just perfect for him in order for him to sneak into the playoffs.
He'll never win a points tiebreaker.
Yeah,
I need
100 points down is too much for him at this point.
Right.
Exactly.
All
I
right,
would need three teams to lose, and then I would need a tiebreaker, which is almost impossible.
You're done, buddy.
Wadji, we're talking about Paul right now.
We're not talking about you, and we're not going to talk about you because you have a total of 847 points.
No, 840,
which is
49. Give him credit.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I'll give you those 2 points.
All right.
Okay.
Listen,
it doesn't matter.
Listen, hold on, guys.
Kevin, okay?
Hold
not
on.
The last one.
I gotta restore order to this podcast. So let me start with Eric, and then we'll get into Wadji because I know he's got to run. So Eric, if you had to pick 3 other teams
Wadji definitely needs to run.
Besides
I
the
agree.
other,
You need to run a 5K, Wadj.
He'll be the pace car. Pace
all right.
bus.
So Eric, other than the Eggheads, the Markoviaks, and the Hustlers, who are the other 3 teams you think that make the playoffs at this point?
You know, it's a good question because Sergeant Slaughter has put himself back in the picture this week.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that he will still miss out, though.
Really?
I do.
He has matchups against the Hustlers and against the Pissers. Yeah.
He will go 1-1.
Okay.
And lose a points tiebreaker.
Yeah, who do you see him losing to? Because I don't love the matchup this week against the Hustlers.
Marshawn being out scares you that much?
It does. I mean, when I'm looking at the starting running backs right now, we've got Giovanni Bernard and Shane Vereen going up against Frank Gore and Darren McFadden. I mean, I think that's definitely a down for George. And it's not like Slaughter's receivers. He's got Emmanuel Sanders, Brandon Marshall, and Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, Hustlers have powerhouse receivers, but I think there's just too much of a difference at running back. I think Slaughter gets the win in this one.
I thought you were a Giovanni Bernard fan.
Don't get me started on that. We'll skip that. We'll skip that and move on to the next point. But so you
Let me just say this about Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, the Sergeant Slaughter Hustlers matchup.
Mm-hmm.
The Hustlers with a healthy Roethlisberger can beat anybody any week because he has 2 guys that combined can put up 60 points, and it's not a crazy number for them to put up 60 points.
Right. Definitely.
You can never sleep on the Roethlisberger Antonio Brown connection.
Yeah, no doubt. And he's got DeAndre Hopkins going against the Saints this week. I can only imagine what sort of massacre that'll be. But basically, my team would need a lot of help, which would include a Hustlers win. I'm a little worried about that matchup just based on the running backs. But okay, so you see Slaughter sort of coming back to the picture.
I think he's going to lose one of the next 2 games.
Okay, I can see that. I don't
think he's good enough.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so Slaughter you see out of it. So then who do you actually see making it? Okay, so if you take Slaughter out of the picture, do you see your team making it?
I've done the power rankings all year, and I've pretty much put myself at 6 all year.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel most comfortable about where my team has been. I think I have the 6th best team in the league, and I think I am a playoff team. I just don't think I'm a threat.
Once in the playoffs.
Yeah. Keenan Allen healthy, yeah, I was a threat. But right now, I don't see it.
Okay, I'm looking at who you've got left in the next couple weeks. Looks like you've got a matchup with Matt this week. And then you have
a good-looking matchup with Matt, don't forget, because Devontae may miss this game.
Right. So if you can get the win here, you go up against Tom's team. You go against Tom's team. If you get the win here, you're probably, you're in. You're basically in because you're going to have 7 wins at that point, and I think you have a decent amount of points for, actually. So you've got your team going in, and then that leaves you with Chaos, Juice, and Demons, and possibly Intoxication. Those are the 4 teams you would pick, and you need two of those to make it. Who do you take out of those 4?
I mean, to me, I think the Chaos have had a solid team all year. I would have picked them for the playoffs from day one. I still think they're a playoff team. Okay,
they've got the Chef coming up this week, and they have a matchup with the Hustlers coming up the week after.
I mean, it doesn't matter. They have the Chef this week, so that's a win. So they're in.
How can you say for sure that's a win? He's going up against Brady and Gronk, right? He's got going Demarius, Devontae Adams. He's got Jeremy Hill and D'Angelo. That's not, it's not like a cupcake squad he's going up against.
Yeah, but there's something about the chef this year that I just don't see him pulling it out. But I mean, just look at the matchups. Also, Brady and Gronk are going against Denver.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's probably the best defense in the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Jeremy Hill.
also,
I mean, come on.
You also
I'm
have
not
to
saying
remember
his
that
career's over. Because it's not. I do think Jeremy Hill will have a good career. But as far as this year, he's backburnered, man.
Yeah, no, he's definitely been playing the second fiddle to Giovanni Bernard. But, again, maybe this is wishful thinking on my part because I need Dan to get a win here in order for my team to have a shot. But that makes sense. So far you've got Eggheads, Markoviaks, Hustlers, yourself, Chaos, and you got one more team to make it. And of the remaining teams, if you think Slaughter is going to fall out of it, I think
you're in, man.
The remaining teams, there's 3 here. You got 3, 5, and 6 teams. You got the Juice, the Intox, and the Demons. Who do you like out of those teams?
I mean, I love the Demons.
Yeah, I know. You love
They're loaded. Alfred Morris, man. Any team built behind a first-round pick of Alfred Morris, I can get behind that team.
He wasn't my first-round pick, was he?
Yeah, he
the
was.
5th pick of the draft.
Listen,
he was.
You're
the draft. It was not a bad pick. I loved him. I loved what was going on in Washington at the time, and it just didn't pan out.
What about what was going on in Washington did you love? Tell me what you loved about Washington out of curiosity. That intrigues me.
Okay, well, obviously they were going to shift gears this year.
Let me answer that question for you. You love the racist name the team has, don't you?
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
That's what you love about the Redskins.
Oh, no. Mm-hmm. Dude, Alfred Morris before this year has been one of the most consistent, not the best, but most consistent running backs out there, putting up over 1,000 yards a year, close to 10 touchdowns. So where I picked him, I didn't really like anybody else. And maybe I could have went with a decent wide receiver, yes, but I had my eye on Nelson. I got Nelson, but obviously he got hurt. Things didn't pan out with Alfred, with the resurgence of Jones, and also Washington just they're horrific. They're supposedly we're going to be this running team, and
I agree that Washington is horrific, and I don't know what you're answering right now. But my question was, what did you like about Washington that you said was so good this year?
No, I said, what did I like before the season?
Yeah. That they were supposed to be a running team?
Yeah, I thought they were going to be a running team. They were going to pound the ball. Helu left, which, he stole so many goal lines from Alf. So I thought that he was going to be a guy that gets those 28 carries a game, 30 carries a game. I really was high on him, and that cost me. I mean, look at it.
No, to answer your question, Luke, though, I think your team is a playoff team.
I do agree. Those are my 3 picks.
You have to go through Matt. I know you have to go through Matt.
Right.
And that is difficult. But
who else
if you think you're a championship team, you have to beat Matt anyway.
Who else do you play?
I have Demons this week, and I have Eggheads next week.
Right.
And,
it seems like a lot of these teams are going to go 1-1. Like you said, Eric, Slaughter, Luke might be the same thing. You probably will go 1-1 because you play Matt as well, Eric.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not winning both games.
So then you play Tom, a weak team, right? So it's going to come down to some points and stuff like that.
Is a 6 and 7 team getting into the playoffs this year, Eric?
No.
Okay. So then, in that case, it would be very difficult for me if I went 1-1. If I get a win,
you can't go 1-1. You have to win out.
Right, definitely.
I think he wins out. I think as much as the Juicers, they've been complaining about luck and getting scored on again this year. I mean, 1,087 points against. It's pretty rough scoring over 1,000 points. But I feel like this unluck, or whatever you want to call it, it runs out, and he makes the playoffs with the Goldfish and the Sergeants. So.
All right. Well, you have Sargent making it.
Well, I don't think one of us has to go. Goldfish, Sargent, and Juice, we're all not making it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, is that mathematically out of the question?
Yes.
Well, no, it's not, because Chaos could lose out, but I don't see it.
I don't see Chaos losing out. Chaos unlikely to lose out against Chef and the Hustlers. I think that'll be real tough.
No, you guys have to remember that, like, at the end of the season, anything can happen. The teams that are on the hot streak at those last 2 games, you could take, hey, I could possibly drop 125 points on you this week, and then you're out.
I don't think that's possible. You think that's possible?
I don't know about 125 points. Granted, anything.
105, yes.
I'm looking, when I look at your team, I don't know where 125 is coming from, considering that your starting lineup is Ruben Randall, Terrence Williams, and Carlos Williams. Those are, those guys are projected to score 6 points and 3 points. So
if they all go off, it's still only 30 points.
No, okay.
Ruben Randall, a good game is 10 points. Carlos Williams, a good game is 10 points. Terrence Williams, 10 points. I'm sorry, 30 points if they have all good games.
Yeah.
Well,
that being said, Gurley and Dalton could both put up 30. So.
Okay, no, but you're also forgetting that you're talking about a guy, Carlos Williams, who in the least games was probably had the best average per yard. So this guy is
irrelevant.
How is it irrelevant? This guy
counts.
This is fantasy football. What matters is touches. You have to get the ball.
And let me speak then. He already proved himself that he's a threat in every single game. And yes, he might have an off game where he puts up 2-3 points because he's not the main guy. But you know what? It only takes 2-3 missed tackles, and this guy is gone. He proved it. He proved it.
He had 4 games in double digits only.
You can say there's a lot of guys that miss
talent.
You can say there's a lot of guys that you get 2-3 missed tackles can go nuts, but you have to look at the guy, how many touches he's getting. Last 2 games he's had 7 and 6 touches, and he scored 10 points and then 1 point. And he's up against Kansas City this week, which is not the softest run.
Not best. Yeah, I agree.
Kansas City's been a good defense.
Very good against the run.
I own them, and they have been very solid.
Mm.
And and as far as my wide receivers against you this year, this weekend, I really don't see much there. I was just making this 100 game point suggestion as a what if. But
listen, it can absolutely happen. I'm looking at the projections here, though. You're projected as a 20-point underdog to me, basically 19.2 points.
Listen, let's stop talking about the team that has scored the least amount of points.
Okay, second least. Okay.
No, the least.
All right. So then,
the least, okay?
Let's
2 points.
What? You scored more than Kevin?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
2 points.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Congratulations. I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
All right. Thanks.
All right. So let's switch gears here. Let's Let's get Paul's perspective on who he thinks is likely to make the playoffs.
I haven't looked at this a lot. I just looked at the standings now. Looking at it, I think when the sample size is getting bigger, next 2 games, it's going to come down to the points, right? So I'm looking at a simple cut is going to be the teams that if you didn't score above 1,000 at this point, you're out.
I agree with you. You're right. It's an easy way to look at it.
It's Eggheads, Mark Oviacs, Goldfish, Juice, Hustlers, and Chaos. But, and then it goes back to what you guys were saying. It's could Juice fall out and Sergeant Slaughter get in there? Possibly.
If Slaughter wins out, he's in.
Yeah. The only way Juice falls out is if I beat him this week. That's it. If he beats me, he's in.
Sorry.
No, that's not true, actually, Waj, because even if I beat you this week, that puts me at 6-6, and I got a tough matchup against the Eggheads next week. Although I got to tell you, though,
but do you think the Eggheads will come out? This guy is at 9-2. I was 10-3, and that was tough.
Yeah,
I don't think that.
He's scoring 110 points a week.
I mean, the guy's averaging 100 points. I mean, that's crazy. He's averaging 100 points per week, which is insane.
Which hasn't happened.
He's averaging the most points per. Well, actually, where did he score this week?
I think I would have beaten him. He scored less than 86. I can't remember exactly.
Oh, really?
But the thing is,
he may be under 100 now.
No, he's still 100.
No, he's still 100. He's got 1102 points for, so he's exactly at like 100.1 or something like that.
Okay, so he's no longer the most of all time now. He was on pace for a record season.
Right. So Waj has left us, but Mark is going to be joining us in just a moment. So, looking at this, I got to tell you that I'm not as afraid of. I mean, listen, obviously he's a great team still, but with the Freeman concussion, Matt's team, if Freeman doesn't play, just doesn't look as scary to me. Does anyone not agree with that?
Oh, 100% agree. My playoff hopes, I feel, are dependent on Devontae Freeman not playing this week.
I mean, he would be starting probably Lamar Miller in his place if.
No. Lamar Miller and Devontae Freeman were both going to start anyway.
Well, no, he actually doesn't have. If you look at his starting lineup
That's
right now,
from last week, though. I don't know why he benched Lamar last week. It's got to be from last week.
I mean, he's got LaShawn McCoy, he's got Devontae Freeman, and then he's starting 3 wide receivers: AJ Green, Vincent Jackson, James Jones. Mark, welcome into the pod.
Thank you all. Hello, greetings from North Bergen.
All right, we had a very interesting conversation with Waj a few minutes ago. Then he disconnected. So anyway,
offended.
Just to fill you in, we've basically been going through and trying to figure out which teams will make the playoff, and then we'll talk about the bottom bracket in a little bit. What do you think? Who are the teams you have? The 6 teams you have making it?
6 teams that I have making are obviously the Eggheads and the Markoviaks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll have to, after looking at the schedule, it'll also be the Hustlers,
mm-hmm.
the Chaos, the Goldfish, and Slaughter.
So you were pretty much spot on with everybody with what we were saying earlier, just that Eric had Slaughter missing and had me making it. But otherwise, you were pretty much spot on. And actually, Paul also had myself making it and Slaughter, I believe, missing because Paul felt that as the sample size increases, that the points for become more and more relevant. And so he was saying if you haven't scored 1,000 by this point, you're probably not going to ride it out over the next 2 weeks.
So you're suggesting it'll come down to a tiebreaker with the winner being the points.
I mean, I think he's saying 2 things. I think he's saying first that, as the sample size increases, the teams that are putting up, close to 100 points eventually start more of those head-to-head matchups start falling in their favor. That's one. And then also number 2, I think he's saying that if it does come down to the tie break, with a similar record, the teams that have scored over 1,000 at this point have a significant advantage, which is obviously true. Dan, you still there?
Yeah.
All right. Who do you think makes the playoffs?
I honestly really have not been paying attention because I suck so bad that I do know that Matt is like number 1.
Yeah, he
I haven't. I have been told that you need a lot of people just to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, I need a lot of different things to happen.
Oh, can you just fill me in real quick as to what needs to happen for like 3 people? I think it's Mark, Tony, and.
In order for me to have a really, really good shot at making the playoffs, basically this week I need to beat Waj, so that part is pretty obvious. If I lose to Waj this week, I'm pretty much toast. But ideally, what I need is I need Tom Dynasty to beat Intoxication because he's 5-6, so that would take him out of the playoff hunt. Ideally, I need Matt to beat Eric, which would bring Eric to the same record as me. I need you to beat Tony because that'll bring him to the same record as me, 6-6. And at that point, anything could happen with 3 teams that are 6-6. Right. And then especially I need the Hustlers to beat Slaughter. I think that's probably the most important game aside from my own is Hustlers to bring Slaughter down to 6-6 and for my team to beat Waj to get up to 6-6. I think those are the most important things. So yeah, a lot of things kind of have to fall into place. But the most important,
I think a more fitting question for my brother, given his situation, is who does he think will be running the 5K?
Oh, that's a good, always a good conversation to get into prior to the playoffs starting.
Who do I think or who do I want?
No, who do you think?
Give me both.
Yo, man, my team is looking fucking slim.
You'll be buying a pair of running shoes this off season.
It's either I have a feeling it's going to be either me or Tom.
Who do you want to run it?
What do we do if it's Tom?
Yeah, what do we do if it's Tom?
I don't think he's coming to the States if he loses.
You better tell your parents, Mr. and Mrs. Kostrowski, that they won't be seeing your son next year.
No,
Their son.
but being serious, I don't think he has any plans for coming this year. So I don't know what.
Fine this year, but I mean, there's always next year.
Listen, I mean, for Tom, I think we would make an exception that he could run a official 5K overseas and just show us some kind of evidence, and we could buy that from him, given the circumstances.
I think that's fair, but I don't think just an official 5K, just go take a jog is enough.
Because think about what
I think we
would've
need
done
like a
then.
5K and a thong. I think that something like that.
5K and a thong?
Something.
At least.
Something.
I'm not going to hate on that.
He's doing a half Ironman, I think, in the summer.
I could give two shits about what he's doing on his own fucking time. Yeah.
I really don't care. It's like...
yeah, I'm going to jerk off in 2 weeks, but does that count? No.
Do I have to wear a Britney Spears costume in that? No, nobody fucking sees it.
All right. Let's bring it back in. All right. So Dan, you think that Tom and or you are running the 5K. Eric, who do you think ends up running the 5K?
You.
Oh, great. Amazing. That's almost.
I also picked you for the playoffs, so
yeah,
clearly I'm good at this.
Clearly, that's almost.
I'm gonna be right on one of these.
He's hedging his bet, dude.
I got to tell you,
you're a playoff team or you're a last place team. That's how you play.
Yeah, it's mathematically almost impossible for me to run a 5K. I'd have to lose
I know.
5 straight games. But Mark, who do you think runs the 5K?
I think it might be Paul.
I would love for Paul to run the 5K.
I would love to see Paul run the 5K.
Nothing against you, Paul, but you're the reigning champion.
I know. I would love
hero to zero, bro.
No, master to disaster.
I told halfway through the season, I said me and Waj are going from 1-2 to 11-12.
Yeah, I actually
don't sleep on Kevin. Kevin's kind of falling quick.
Kevin's team sucks.
Why? What happened to Kevin's team?
No, he's got two. If Tom could beat him this week, not only does that help. I mean, obviously the Luke situation, like he wants to get in, but for him, he has to. He might drop significantly. He has the least points scored for the year. It could be him.
Yeah, I can see the intoxication running it. I think at this point, though, if you ask me who's going to run it, I actually think it could be Tom. I'm just looking over the starting lineup for the week. I mean, he starts Charles Sims at running back. His starting wide receivers are Stevie Johnson, Brandon LaFell, and John Brown. So nobody really scares you all that much out of those guys. So despite having
John Brown is capable of putting up big numbers.
Listen, of course, there's no doubt about that. But compare that to the Hustlers who have DeAndre Hopkins, Antonio Brown, and Allen Robinson, and we're talking about just about a different caliber of receiving core. For me, it's going to be between Dynasty, and I actually don't think that Dan runs a 5K. I think his team has a potential to finish out the year really strong. I think the other team that's in the running for 5K actually is the Demons.
Of course.
I think it's going to come down to.
That's just a given.
I mean, I think it's going to come down to Dynasty and Demons in terms of the 5K. I actually don't think Paul is in that great of danger. And Paul brings up a good point about the intoxication. They are falling kind of quick, but he's other than starting like a really weak flex, he's got Alfred Blue. I mean, the rest of his team is not terrible. He's got Romo back now. He has LeGarrette and Latavius as his running backs. It's not terrible. He's got Alshon, who's kind of been banged up, but his team doesn't look terrible from that perspective. So I think he might be able to just survive in the bottom bracket and end up not having a run.
4 or 5 years ago, when we started inflicting pain for last place, we had some conversations, and I think, and I still do think to this day, that the least, at that time, and maybe it's changed a little bit, but the least two likely teams to finish in last place at that time I thought were me and Kevin. And I still feel that Kevin is unlikely to finish in last place. He's a good manager. He stays on top of it. I think he can hold himself out of last.
Yeah, I agree with you. And just looking over his team, I think that makes sense. Not just is he a pretty consistent manager. I think the players are there for that. Who's most likely to actually win the bottom bracket? Is it somebody that's probably in the bottom bracket now, or one of the teams that just missed the playoffs? Eric, thoughts?
I think that probably Darius is the winner of the bottom bracket. I don't think he's going to make the playoffs. I think he's a solid team. He will start in the first game. If I had to make a bet, I would bet Darius.
I'm going to agree with you there. I think it's between my team and Darius's team. I have a hard time believing that I'm going to get two. I have to win out here probably to make the top. So it's going to be really tough to. I think the Demons are probably a win, but you never know. And then Eggheads are going to be really tough. So if I don't make it and Slaughter makes it to the top, I think I have a legitimate shot to make some noise in the bottom bracket. Paul, who do you have winning the bottom bracket?
I didn't even think about that. So I'm just looking at the projected right now. So Demons have Chef and Glasswood. Yeah. So if I could get above him, I'd love to get up there. So I'm hoping I obviously could win it. But again, going back to what I was saying, it's either going to be if you or Darius don't. You guys are going to be the lead, in my opinion, to get the bottom.
Yeah.
So if it's going to be whoever gets pinched out of the top bracket, it'll probably be a 6-5 team.
And I'm just hoping I could beat out Watch for that number 8 spot, so I don't have to be in that bottom 4.
All right, that makes sense. Eggheads, clearly the top team right now. Do you think the Eggheads outlast everybody and take the championship this year, Eric?
If you're giving me the Eggheads or everybody else, I'm going to take everybody else.
Okay. Which team do you see winning it all most likely? If you're going to take the field over Eggheads, of the field, who do you like the most?
Chaos.
Okay. I can see that.
I think there's a couple things about that team, and I think that Tony manages a very consistent team. He's made back-to-back championships, and he should have made 3 in a row, don't forget. Mm-hmm. I think that if I have to pick a team, and it's not me and it's not Matt, I'm going to take the Chaos.
Yeah, but you guys are like giving that manager title the skill, the management. At this point, getting in, your management matters when you have choices, right? When you have, at this point, your team is your team, and
I'm looking.
So at a sense, it's luck. Who's on the upswing out of these players?
Yeah, I'm looking right now at Chaos. He's got Drew Brees as his quarterback, and this is who Drew Brees has in the fantasy playoffs. He's got Week 14, Tampa Bay. Then he's followed up by the Detroit. He's playing the Detroit Lions at home, Jacksonville at home, and on the road at Atlanta, a somewhat overrated team. So
he might score 100 points.
Right. He's got the Bucs, the Lions, Jacksonville, and the Falcons. Those are pretty good matchups for the fantasy playoffs for Brees.
Drew Brees can win a game by himself.
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
With his 40-point performance like 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago.
Oh, my God. I didn't notice that. That's what he did. 48 points.
48 points, right. 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, against the Giants. Thanks. I remember, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So sorry about that, Eric.
Yeah.
7 touchdowns. That's incredible.
Right.
Believe it or not, though, by the numbers, I think Eli played a better game that week.
Back to reality, guys. Okay.
No, honestly. Eli played a better game. Brees just got an extra possession. That game was back and forth, and it was just a matter of, who time runs out on.
Mark, who of the teams making the playoffs, who's your favorite to win?
My pick is a little biased. I'm going to pick myself.
Fair. No, that's fair. Mark is a legit pick. But he's in. He's already in.
The one thing that I want to point out between my team and Chaos's team is we are perhaps the most we're a well-rounded team. All our positions are filled with people that are able to contribute. In particular, the tight end position, which is perhaps Egghead's biggest weakness.
Yeah, but you forget that your biggest weakness is the owner of your team.
That's so.
And you don't have one star on your. I mean, I agree you're well-rounded. That's also a way of saying I don't have an all-star on my team either. Like
the manager's an all-star. I'd like to remind you all that I was voted the biggest dog heading into the season.
Yeah,
and that only fuels this manager.
How about chaos to put starting people that are on off of waivers this week? So
how about you discuss with us the weakness at running back? I think that's your biggest problem.
My weakness
at running back?
I mean, well, I'm looking here. You've got Thomas Rawls, who potentially is a star for the rest of the year, given that Marshawn's out. But you also got Sharkandrick West, who's currently hurt. And then your next...
Sharkandrick will be back by the time our playoffs roll around.
Okay, well, the next guy up for you... The next guy up for you is Isaiah Crowell. So, I mean, what do you think of that?
I mean, I'm not too confident with him. He's a serviceable guy. 6 points maybe. And if he has a touchdown, 12 at most.
Okay.
He's good anywhere between 6 and 12 points.
Okay, and your quarterbacks are Brian Hoyer and Matthew Stafford. You feel comfortable with that going into the playoffs?
I actually picked up Brian Hoyer today because I liked his schedule during our playoffs. He has some pretty sweet matchups. And Stafford.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Hoyer during the playoffs has New England, Indy, Tennessee, and Jacksonville. So, definitely a potential final finishes strong there at Tennessee.
Oh, but if you look at Stafford's the matchups for Stafford.
I think it's 40.
Right, but it's also Matthew Stafford. So anyway, moving on. Paul, who do you have as the favorite to win the whole thing?
I'm gonna go with Matt again. Same idea of how I came up with the top bracket looking based on what he's averaging. He's got so much depth at running back. He could pick any of the guys and beat us. I think I like him.
Yeah, hard to go against a team that's averaging 100 points every single week. Dan, who do you like to win the whole thing?
Dan likes the goldfish. He's been telling me all day.
Not all day. I said I do like
You're
his
right.
team. I do
For
like
weeks.
I do like his team. I do agree that Tony is also a consistent, player. And you got to look at who's going to be fucking like. Is Cam Newton even going to play when we're playing the fucking final?
That is
true. You know what I mean? Like
that is true.
Say if I was in the final and Patriots are whatever 13-0, whatever at that point. It's like, dude, Gronk's going to have limited time. Got to look at who's going to have limited time. I think at that point, Breeze is going to be in like the playoff hunt where he's got to fucking throw, make passes, this and that. Got to win.
And even if they're not in the playoff hunt, Breeze will throw all day, every day.
Yeah. So,
Cam will get benched if they lose a game. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Cam will sit the bench.
Okay.
That's a good point that you bring. That's a good thing that you point out because the Eggheads put. If you look at his roster, the players that will potentially sit the last week or two. Not last 2 weeks, but last week could be Cam Newton, AJ Green. Actually, those.
Yeah, AJ Green will be on the bench. He is a major injury concern. Absolutely, AJ Green will not play in the Super Bowl. So eggheads. That's why I think that they're not a good choice to win at all.
I'd like to bring this little point up to you guys. Even if he has Cam Newton sitting, he's got Marcus Mariota, who in a potential final has Houston at home and is then on the road at Indy. So it's not like he doesn't have a serviceable replacement there.
Okay.
Marcus Mariota is also a rookie and could put up single digits both game.
What has he put up? What's his game log?
I mean, his game.
Me.
He's
inconsistent. 8 points, 17 points, 34.
I mean, he averages, 15 points, basically 14 points is actually his average. There was a time period where he was hurt, but, he started off the year hot, 26, 17, 20, and then, he kind of cooled off. But then in the last 3 weeks, he's had 34, 8, and 17. The 8 was against Carolina's defense, so that's obviously the explanation there. But from here on out, he's got Oakland, he's got Jacksonville, he has the Jets on the road, New England on the road, and then he finishes with Houston and Indy. And Cam is still going to be playing in weeks 14 and 15, so I don't see Matt having to use Mariota until week 16 and 17.
I don't feel as comfortable with Mariota as I do with Cam. And I understand what you're saying. It's not like the world has ended, but it is a better team with Cam than Mariota. Especially in a 2-week final. There's
no doubt about it, but if he's got Cam sitting, obviously, then that becomes a moot point, and he's got to play Mariota, who, in my opinion, is a serviceable replacement, actually.
I agree. Serviceable, though.
So, serviceable, but if you look at the rest of Matt's team, I mean, does he need a guy to get more than 15? I think he'll probably be okay if a guy gets 15 and 16 in those 2 weeks.
Possible.
I mean,
possible.
Unless he's paired up against Drew Brees, then he's going to need.
No, you're right.
More
We
than
do
that.
have a lot of the big quarterbacks have not made the playoffs this year. We have no Andrew Luck. We have no Aaron Rodgers. Peyton Manning is gone. Tom Brady's in the bottom bracket. A lot of those guys that put up 30, 35 and can scare the shit out of you are not going to be in the playoffs.
All right, we'd like to welcome George into the pod. George, let me just fill you in real quick. We've been talking about what teams we expect to make the playoffs, who we expect to win the whole entire shebang, and then who we expect to run the 5K. So we'll get you started. Who do you of the remaining teams? Who do you see making the playoffs? Of the remaining teams that are sort of still in contention for it.
All right. Well, obviously, Matt's gonna have to make it.
Yeah, I mean he's locked. He's locked. He's clinched. So other than that,
all right.
Maybe.
Yeah. George is up.
Tony definitely is gonna make it through. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna make it through.
Okay.
Let's see. That leaves me how many more spots?
It leaves you three more spots. Leaves you basically who you have that's in contention remaining. After that is the Goldfish, the Juice, the Demons, and the Intoxication are the only other 4 teams that would theoretically be in contention there.
Yeah, I don't think the Demons make it through.
Okay.
I think Kevin keeps on getting lucky the way he has all season.
Okay.
So, yeah, and then that leaves obviously the Juice and the Goldfish.
Oh, I also forgot about Slaughter. Slaughter's in there. So,
well, I'm going to beat him this week, so it won't make a difference.
Oh, all right.
And more Markoviak.
Yeah, I mean, he said I think he had you making it, but that would make 6 then, right? So you had Matt, you had Tony, you had Kevin getting lucky. You got them. Did you have Markoviaks? I mean, Markoviaks are basically a clinch at 7-4 at 7 wins. So I'm assuming you got Markoviaks in there as well.
Yeah, and then I think it'll be either you or Eric, and I don't know which one of the two because you both seem to be unlucky.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
I don't feel unlucky. I think my team has been pretty. I think I've got what I've deserved.
If you, I don't know if you guys saw that post that George made where he looked at the numbers. It looks like, Eric, if you played the entire league in head-to-head, you would be 1% better than your actual head-to-head matchup record, which is pretty spot on for your team. So you're not really off base with that statement at all.
I made that statement because I read George's post.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. All right, that makes sense.
Well, thank you, George, for enlightening me.
Yeah, that post. Anybody who's within 5% one way or the other is pretty much you're going to be where you should be. But the people who are like the 15 and 20% at this point, that's 1 or 2 games in either direction, which is huge. You've got somebody like Matt, who's 8-3 or whatever he is, and he should be closer to like 7-4. So yeah, little things like that add up real quick. So he got lucky. His first, I guess, run towards a championship. He'll get knocked out, though. He can't sustain it.
First year Matt has ever led a division.
I don't know, Eric. Eric, is it the first year? I don't think it's the first year.
I don't think so.
There was
the year he won, he had a good team, led by the Bernard Turner. He was solid all year that year.
Yeah. Well, so is that his thing? He just goes with Atlanta running backs and hopes for the best.
I think it may be.
All right. So so that's who you have making the playoffs. Who do you have winning the entire thing, George?
Realistically, I'd say I have an okay shot, but my running back situation just got sent to the hospital, so I don't think that I'll be able to sustain it. But you never know. I think it'll end up being either me or Tony. Like I said, I don't think Matt's going to make it at this point. He's going to, if Freeman doesn't come back from the concussion soon enough, Matt's going to be in some trouble. But if he does, then I think, he's still got a decent team. But when it comes to the playoffs, you're playing against other teams that have scored a ton of points. And so his 100 points is going to be closer to the average versus, playing teams that put up 40 and 50. So,
right. Okay.
I beat him once.
Yeah.
I'll beat him again.
Who do you have running the 5K?
Unfortunately, I think Dan is fucked.
Polish up them running shoes.
Yeah, I mean, unless he lucks out and Gronk and Brady go crazy in at the end of the season, which there's a chance that they will, but if the Patriots are undefeated and they've really got nothing to play for, then expect a lot of handoffs.
Yeah. So this year, your team, George, is significantly better than your teams have been in the past. Is there anything different you did this year in terms of your drafting strategy or maybe your waiver strategy that has resulted in like such a big improvement in your season overall record?
Yeah, this year I focused on drafting running backs,
Mm-hmm.
and it turns out that my wide receivers are still 3 of the top 6. So it apparently doesn't matter what my drafting strategy is. It always comes back to having really good wide receivers for me. Blake Bortles on the waiver wire was huge when Roethlisberger went down, and that held me over pretty well. But, I mean, DeAndre is basically putting himself in the running for MVP of the entire league, so I kind of got lucky with that selection.
Yeah. How did you feel about Antonio Brown dropping to you in the second round? I mean, some teams had a shot to get him and skipped over him. Were you planning on Antonio Brown the whole time, or were you surprised that he ended up in your hands?
Yeah, it was either going to be Antonio or Julio. It was going to be one of the two. I was going wide receiver for my first actual selection, so whoever of the two was there, that's who I was going with. I didn't think I had a shot at Antonio. I figured somebody else would have picked up Julio and then maybe Demaryius before that, and picked Antonio and Demaryius, and then maybe I'd have a shot at Julio or Odell. But he was there, so I grabbed him.
Yeah, it's interesting. Before the draft, we all had you on Demaryius Thomas there. Is there any reason you decided to not go with DT? I mean, he was available.
I don't like that offense at all. It was too frantic at the end of last season, and you could tell that there was something going on there. And obviously this year you see that entire offense is just being carried by the defense.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Anyone have any closing questions for George?
Yes, I do.
All right.
I have one as well.
All right, Mark, you go first.
George, how much of an impact did running the 5K make on your team this year?
None whatsoever.
None whatsoever?
No, because I knew that the chances of me only winning 3 or 4 games again this year, it wasn't realistic unless there was a huge rash of injuries. So I just figured, hey, the worst that can happen is I finish somewhere in the bottom bracket, but then I have to lose twice in the bottom bracket, basically. So I wasn't too...
I'm going to follow that question up with one more. Do you think your 5K team time will be beat this year?
It depends who's running it, but, good luck to whoever runs it, because that was hard.
You know basically who's got a shot, though. Like, say it's Waj. Do you think Waj beats you?
No.
Your 5K time.
Not even close.
You know what, George? You come home for the 5K, you can make sure whoever runs it doesn't beat you.
Yeah, no. I'll be jumping on a bicycle like you did and chasing him down.
That being said, did you have a good time running the 5K?
You run that shit really quick.
It wasn't that bad. It could have been worse. I mean, my problem was that I decided to do it in July, which is possibly the worst time to run a 5K. It felt like I was breathing in water. So,
right.
But whoever runs it, good luck to them. I'm lucky that this year there's a good chance that I'm not even going to be in a position to have to think about running it. So,
are you coming home for Thanksgiving?
Nah, I came back last week, was it?
Well, then fuck you, bro.
Oh, thanks for letting us know.
We lose last year and you're done? We lost Turkey Bowl last year and you're done?
No, I can't get off from work. It's Black Friday.
Bullshit.
So, yeah.
Don't worry, guys. We're going to win Turkey Bowl this year because I'm in it.
Yeah, that's if you can even get on the field.
I wasn't there last year. That's why you guys lost.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't have mattered. Your hamstring would have popped as soon as you tied your shoe.
Once you got out of bed. Didn't that happen, Ed? You got out of bed and your hamstring fucking pulled, right?
Of course. Okay. But you know what? Just my presence is good luck juju, man.
How was it down there, George?
Apparently, you guys have better weather right now than we do.
You can edit this if you want, but I'm just curious. I haven't talked to George in a minute.
No, man, dude, this is what the pod is for. Talk away, man.
What's going on, George?
Nothing. Just.
Do you like the barbecue down there?
Dude, there's like I can't find a good slice of pizza, but if I want anything pork, I can find it like within 3 minutes of in any direction. It's ridiculous.
How good is that barbecue though? The pork is so good down there.
Does it outweigh the pizza? Like I love it.
Nah. Pizza's just man. You can't.
Pizza's slow cooked pork.
Oh, no, it's so good. So good. But pizza is so easy and so quick. And
I don't know, man, but I would think when you're down there and you taste the pizza and then you taste the pork or the barbecue, whatever, it's so different. And like up here, when you taste the pizza and you taste the barbecue, you're like, oh, fuck that, I like pizza. You know? I don't know if you just grown
up there.
accustomed to
Barbecue is just hot dogs and burgers. Down here, barbecue is like
life.
It's all they live for. There's actually like if you go to test drive a car on the weekend, they've got grills and stuff set up so that when you're done test driving,
a car dealership.
Yeah.
Do you prefer North Carolina or South Carolina barbecue?
I haven't really had a chance to really compare the two. I've had both, but
I think it's mustard based or vinegar based. I think is the difference.
Yeah, the vinegar based stuff is good. I think that's the North Carolina style.
That is.
That's been real good so far. Everything that I've tried. So, and I've tried brisket and just pork.
Memphis style.
No, not yet. I got to find some other places. With work and everything, I haven't really had time to explore too much. But yeah, it's kind of ridiculous down here with all that.
Well, I mean, next time you're fucking in town, let's get a poker game or something, and
Yeah, well, this time I didn't say anything to anybody because I just wanted to kind of show up places and be like, "What's up?" But now next time I can let everybody know in advance. I'm probably going to be up for the Super Bowl. I already requested off from work, so
all right.
Super Bowl and out there.
Sure, man.
Awesome. Look forward to seeing you, dude.
Keep in touch, brother.
Later, George.
Sounds good. Well, George, thanks for joining us, man.
All right.
All right, man. Take care. Make sure to listen to the pod, subscribe, and have a good rest of your work day.
Barbecue. I'm gonna be serving up some barbecue this week when I play the Pissers. It'll be extra smoked.
Smoked sausage.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of bad jokes,
Mark, you're gonna smoke his sausage?
Listen, I made this bad joke on purpose.
Wow, man. You make a lot of bad jokes on purpose.
You want to see a joke? You should look at Eric's team.
Maybe you should move away as far as George's, and maybe we'll miss you.
It's like you're gonna miss the playoffs.
Oh!
All right, gentlemen. It's been real. It's been fun. Podcast will be uploaded tomorrow. Listen to it, subscribe, do the whole 9, and hopefully we'll do it again once we have our playoff matchup set. We could have a clearer picture and then can have some more discussions at that point. So thanks for joining us, all the guests, and we'll catch all you guys later.
Get that money, man. Get that money, man. Get that money, yo, I gotta get that money, man. I gotta stack cheese. I gotta stack cheese. I need at least 2 G's in my khakis. Get that money, man. Get that money, man. Get that money, yo, I gotta get that money, man. I gotta stack cheese. I gotta stack cheese. I need at least 2 G's in my khakis.
Lumberjack, I'm hungry like a third world country. I fiend for the papers like crack to a junkie soul.
Give me that rat money. What? Nigga, that's funny. My wallet's fat, shooting gather, shooting crap money.
I hit dice and get nice with chip stacks. Pop Chris and bro whips till shit crash.
I need a hunk of cheddar, better know how life is. Stuck in a low place, facing high prices.
I stay grinding, paper trail blinded.
Know the bigs want the stash,
but one time I never find it.
It's fresh off the streets where I keep my wages, reaping that increase on a daily basis.
The snowball effect from nickels to bad checks. Pistols that rob liquors and bitches that sell sex.
From these hoes to kilos, a seasoned pro.
They say them boys hustle.
That's them hoodlums.